Teilung. Dies ist unser typisches Rezept für den amerikanischen Mittleren Westen.
Who are you?
Führen wir aus mit sehr fruchtzuckerhaltigem Mais-Sirup.
Yeah, you do.
Wir sind ganz zufrieden mit dem Ergebnis.
Do you know what, mate? You sell it to me.
Und wir finden sie echt prima.
It's orange, man.
French Dressing.
Okay.
Wir nennen es einfach French.
Nice. He deserved a laugh for that, I'll be honest with you. This guy wasn't going to give it to him, was he?
French.
Yes, it's amazing. Don't let him... Hey.
Cajun Kicker.
Nice. I like this guy.
Gastrische Notfälle zu mildern, die vom Original herrühren.
Hey, do you know what? That's thinking. That is thinking.
3%
Instant villain. Instant villain.
Ketchup.
Solid choice. No one good sits and just has no expression when they're eating chicken nuggets. I'm sorry. Villain. Don't you dare. This guy fucking smashed it. He smashed it. He deserved a round of applause. This arsehole wasn't going to give him it, was he? There's the connection. Madrigal. Interesting, because that was the name of the episode. Is this the Cayman link? Okay, I wondered. I've been thinking about this. I was like, what import can the Cayman thing have? And I've been thinking about this in my downtime. Yeah, okay, I've got no life apparently, just leave me alone, okay? And I was like, the only reason that could be in there is because of Hank, right? Hank's got nothing at the moment. He had like a lab, you know, that is burned to a crisp. He's got nothing. Apart from the laptop, you know, the footage, which I'm assuming, you know, maybe I'm wrong, got destroyed, demolished, you know, zip, last episode. So I was like, right, what could it possibly serve in the show? Who could it serve? And I was like, Hank. It's got to be Hank, right? It's got to be like a lead, however tenuous, for Hank to like, you know, track something somewhere. And I was like, what is it going to be? And I was like, you know, at the end of the day, like Gus is gone, and I felt like maybe it leads to a person. Maybe it leads to a person. And honestly, I thought we were going to get into this episode, and then I was going to talk about that and say that there's a person here, and it's already happened. And honestly, it's starting quick. And hey, man, honestly, the pacing of this season is just quick, mate. Get straight into it. I like it. I do. Don't appreciate that though, mate. I had a whole thing I wanted to talk about Breaking Bad, man. It's fine, Tyler. It's fine. Just drink your drink. Is he gonna kill himself? Okay, fine. I feel a little bit bad for ragging on this guy for the chicken nuggets. I apologise, okay? But damn, what has it got to be? What has the dirt got to be that this guy just doesn't want to face it? I'm so annoyed. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you told me to like chill out about it. I know. But like, I was like, it's fine. It can wait until the credits, the opening credits, and then I can talk about it. It's fine. That's a good, like, you know, a good segue. And I was like, let's just let them open. Let's be polite. You know, I was like, I'll sit down. I'll shut up. I'll just be polite for a second. And then it just ruined my analysis, right? I've been doing an analysis in between like last week and this week, and that is what I come up with. I was like, it must be a person that is going to lead, you know, in the Caymans, right? I was like, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was like Gus's aunt or something, right? I'll admit that, right? I was wrong there, but I was like, it's a person. I feel like it's a person, and it is a person. I got it off my chest now. Okay, that's what I had to get it out. Okay, I'm fine now. I'm absolutely fine. This guy apparently is not going to be fine.
Öffnen Sie!
Mate, just say you're having a massive shit and you'll be out in a second. Hello and welcome. This is Breaking Bad Friday, the show that happens every single Friday. My name is Tyler Alexander. Welcome, one and all, old and new. Thank you for being here. This is episode 2 of season 5, and my theory has immediately been crushed by this show. But it's fine, I'm cool with it. Spontaneous flamingos are incoming.
Where is it? Where did it go? And I just...
Right, the cigarette. This is interesting. Already, episode 2, where we have Jesse questioning.
And I keep thinking somebody's gonna find this thing on the street or something.
know that.
Bless. Yeah. Constantly reminded, again, of where these two guys now are morally, right? Jesse, thinking about this cigarette that is very, very dangerous, you know, could kill someone, and it's gone. And to a lot of people, that would be like, well, done. Can't do anything about it. But he's, you know, he's up at night. He can't sleep. Jesse he's a good person, or at least he's striving to be good, I think. And I think we've been seeing that in the, you know, the latter half of Breaking Bad. And it's interesting how, yeah, Walt has just gone off the deep end. I don't know, man. Now, it depends, Walt. It depends. If you don't do this right, do you know what I mean? He could mess this up. And this could be what puts Jesse onto him. But at the same time, being reminded once more how much of a schemer Walt is now, and how he's not hesitating to just lie, to get his way and to just you know, clean it up a little bit. Yeah, it's interesting as well that there was a moment over the toilet where I think he honestly, when he was walking towards it, he was like, I'm gonna get rid of it completely. And then he stopped and he was like, what chicanery, what fuckery might happen that means that I might need this in the future. And that is a Walt thinking coldly, thinking ruthlessly. And again, yeah, like I say, it's just reminding us where these two guys are on the moral scale. Oh, I wonder as well, because Walt swapped the actual poison in the cigarette that I guess he's going to plant for salt. And I wonder if Jesse might try and use that at some point, and what effect that might have. Like, what if, I don't know, speculating wildly, I'll be honest with you, but what if, Jesse does find out and he tries to use the poison on Walt, and then, Walt takes it and then he doesn't die or something, right? Or maybe something in the future relies on Jesse using that for Walt's benefit as well, for both of their benefit, and him thinking the poison, and he's like, to Walt, I don't know, something's happening, and he's like talking to Walt, and he's like, no, it's fine, don't worry, I laced the poison in there, it's going to be fine. And then Walt looks at him like, no, and then the cat's out of the bag, because Jesse's like, hang on a minute, how do you know it's not poison? Do you know what I mean? And sorry, that's where I'm going. I'll be honest with you, again, wild speculation, my imagination running wild with this. I wonder, I'm just saying, it's a very small thing, the switching of the salt with the poison, but like, I love how there's so much potential in that swap. How have you never noticed this? Ah, I see. Is that where he planted it? Like I keep saying, Jesse's smart.
Is he?
And I wonder how much he's going to buy this.
Good. No worries.
Oh,
Get rid of this.
Right. The thing, yeah, my theory, instantly going down the plug hole. Because he's like, I'll just get rid of it, it's fine. Whatever's, mate.
Jesse?
Okay, Walter, please reach out a hand. Are you capable of reaching out a hand at
I
this
almost
point?
shot you.
Oh.
I almost killed you all because...
Bless him again. And then when we see again how just innately good he still is, despite everything that's happened.
I could be so stupid.
Stop that now. Come on.
Good.
Come on.
That little look though. That little look, pause, because I was tempted to say there, like, good, there's a little bit of Walt still in there. And I was wondering that after last episode. And how I feel like, how far he's fallen. And just the effects of like how last episode ended with Skylar and what I was talking about then, right? I do feel like he is going down this path that's leading to a Walt Heisenberg combo that isn't even like badass cool, like, for the sake of what he needs to do, but just cruel, innately cruel to people. I feel like we saw a little bit of that, last episode, the end of last episode. And so it got me to wondering, I was like, how much of the Walt that we knew is still left in there? And I was like, with this bit here, I was like, oh, maybe there is. But then he did that little look, and let's go back, let's just watch that again. So exactly what I'm talking about here.
Stop that now. Come on. Come on.
There, the little kind of, look, like he's searching for something. Like it's not like, it felt to me, and I might be just reaching here, it seems to me that it wasn't genuine concern on his face. It was like his eyes were kind of going, like he was kind of a little bit tired of this. It was like, oh God, another thing to kind of sort out and get, another obstacle, another hurdle to get over. And it was almost like he was thinking, what can I say? And it's like, I feel like Walt that we knew, a couple of seasons, a season even ago, going up all the way back to season 1 as well, would have known what to say. Or if not known what to say, he would have at least tried, and it would have been easy. I feel like the Walter that we have now, it's not easy for him anymore to be empathetic almost. Or it's perhaps like a, I don't know, I'd maybe liken it to a rusty machine, right? It still exists, but it's not been used in a while. So it's like, the cogs are turning, the gears are turning, but he's not been using that machine, for a little while now. And he's unused to it. I feel like that's what it was. So do you know what I mean? There's that struggling of that lack of ease of this morally good side of him now, I feel like. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm inferring a little bit too much there, but that little look there just... It seemed like that to me. Play.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, he's grasping. It feels like he's grasping.
I want you to think about that as we go forward.
Go forward where?
Yeah, good question. What's the plan, Walt? This is the thing. I feel like Mike's just out, and fair play to him. Kind of what I like about his character is just like, even with the job that he had with Gus, he was like, I like it. You know what I mean? It was almost just, I don't feel like he's necessarily a simple person. I'm not saying that, but I do feel like his motivations were simple in a way. It doesn't mean they're bad or, unintelligent, but I think they were just simple. You know what I mean? And I find that quite charming about his character. And I feel like considering everything that's happened is like, not ideal, but I'll get on with it. It's fine.
Thanks for seeing us.
I've kind of said before, and I think all my analysis and
Good to
watching
talk
the show and
partnership.
commentating on this show, partnership, okay, let's see. But I feel like this show is such an interesting character study.
We're gonna start cooking again.
Okay.
There's a market to be filled.
Right, so yeah.
Apparently no one to fill it.
Right, he's instantly back on it.
But there's still distribution, support, logistics, that sort of thing.
It's so interesting. Pause. Do you guys remember? I know some of you might be new, but I think you know quite a lot of you have watched all of my Breaking Bad videos so far. Do you remember there was a point, and I actually don't know when it was. It might have been maybe season 2, maybe even going to season 3, where I kept talking about these boys, Jesse and Walt, were so far behind. They weren't thinking about security, logistics. They didn't have that in their machine. And then eventually, and I was like, when are they going to get that? You know, when are they going to find that? And honestly, I thought it was going to come sooner than it did. But then obviously we got Gus, and then Gus kind of filled that role. You know what I mean? And then the thing became, you know, okay, dealing with Gus. That became the focus, and that was the story beat for a while. But it's so interesting that now in season 5, all this time later, we are actually getting what I was kind of calling for from them. Now here, we're sitting down, all of that's kind of resolved, and now look where Walt is. Look at the mindset that he's finally found after all this time, and it's taken him a while, you know. And I feel like that is more realistic as well in a way. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of shows would have answered my call in season 3, for example, and been like, yeah, no, that's the logical way to go, and it would have made, you know, Walt the protagonist follow those lines, you know, those plot lines. And I do feel like I'm pointing it out because it's so interesting that the meandering path that this show took to get them there, and how much more real it seems for it, because I do feel like, you know, if they'd have done it sooner, it would have been almost unrealistic in a certain sense. Do you know what I mean? I feel like because it's taken this long, and, you know, obviously I think from that point to this point, Walt is a very different character. Same for Jesse, let's be honest. This makes so much sense, especially considering the playing field now, and that there is this absence, this vacuum. Oh God, do you know what I mean? It's something that I appreciate. The slow burn of it all is so well done, and I think, you know, makes it more rewarding for the audience when this finally happens, right? I was calling for this 2 seasons ago, and it's not that I necessarily forgot it, but we had stuff in the way of that was, you know, happening in the show that was so good that I didn't care about this stuff as well, right? That's important too. Anyway, sorry. Damn, well done, well played.
You would be a great help.
So skeptical. Automatically. Fair play to him.
Profits will be smaller, at least at first, but
Yeah, he's got the long game in mind.
owners, not employees. Thanks.
Yeah, I feel like Mike just wants an easy life. That was always his motivation. He just wanted to do something he enjoyed, you know.
Mike, I know you don't care for me.
I think you're underestimating. I don't think it's just that though, Walt. I think it is just that he liked his role, and you took that away from him.
You leave emotion out of this decision.
It's not emotion. Yeah, exactly. I think he is.
Our trouble.
Yeah.
I'm sorry the kid here doesn't see it, but I sure as hell do.
Yeah, and he's right, you know.
You are a time bomb.
And he's so right. He's the only one that sees, actually, which is interesting. Look at the way Walt's looking at him. And Jesse's looking at Walt like, God, how's he going to take it? I feel like Jesse's perception of Walt has changed as well. I do feel like, you know, last episode we got Jesse being like, no, Walt's good at this stuff. Just let him. Do you know what I mean? There was an element of that. And I feel like all of the characters in the show now take Walt a little bit more seriously. Walt. This is the thing. His ego, he's going to get him in trouble. He's so sure of himself, which can be a boon. Is it going to be? I don't know. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot this episode. I feel like I'm going to make these season 5 videos a little bit longer, get a little bit more in there. I feel like it deserves it a little bit at this point, and I feel like it's a kind of an event season almost. And, you know, hey, he's walking without a cane though. Good on him, mate. Well done. But let me know, by the way. Let me know, guys, in the comments below if you prefer. I know we've talked about this a lot about, you know, me talking too much or not talking too much, and you've always kind of said, thank you, by the way. You've always kind of said it's fine. Just do it, you know. I always try and balance it and everything in the structure of my videos, but let me know. I am maybe editing a bit less down, you know what I mean? So these videos might be a bit longer. Would you prefer that? Do you like that? If you want them to be a bit shorter, let me know. I can also, you know, keep that in mind going forward, and do that too. So let me know.
The U.S. attorney's in the house, big doings. Your name keeps coming up.
He's not going to take any promotion. He wants this case. He wants this. He needs this. I feel like at this point he's so far in.
Almost single-handedly, he grew our little restaurant division.
Let's not forget the guy at the beginning. That was a very extreme reaction. It's like, what is he so ashamed of?
Outstanding police work, Hank.
Yeah.
If only I'd listen.
Good. I like that we're having this, actually. Nice that the show took a little bit of time to congratulate him for that, because, yeah, like...
But who gave Salamanca the bomb?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of questions.
When do we think... Sorry, pause. I've been made aware that this season is split into 2, essentially. So I wonder whether the finale for the mid-season is Hank finding out and perhaps something to do with Walt and Hank. That would be my guess at the moment. So, I don't know. We'll see.
I had him out to my house. I son shucked the corn, my daughter cut up potatoes. Spring brought sea bass. Every time I grill it now, I make a little foil pouch just like he showed me.
Oh, he was a good cook though, wasn't he?
The whole night we were laughing, telling stories, drinking wine, and he's somebody else completely.
I don't know. Pause. And you let me know again. Let me know what you think. I do feel like we always get this, right? When we have criminals in shows or whatever. I do feel like Gus was that person. I do. I just think he wasn't showing his whole self, right? I feel like a lot of people, this is always interesting to me, because I feel like in when you write, one character is different people around different people. That is just like a rule of thumb. That is just a rule of writing. They are. I think that's very human nature. That's how we are as humans, right? I mean, you think about, who you are in regard to your mum and dad, and then who you are in regard to maybe your friends, and then who you are in regard to someone you don't know, or, in a work relationship, or, I feel like we do just show different sides of ourselves to different people depending on the situation. So it's like he's saying like he was a whole different person, but I don't think he was a different person. I just think he was holding back a little, obviously the side of himself that he couldn't show. I do feel like the bits that Gus showed this guy was genuine, and I feel like maybe whatever the friendship they had was also genuine. I do think that, and I think that can exist as well as obviously what else of Gus too. So I always find that kind of interesting in shows when people say like, I didn't know them at all. It's like I feel like you did. I feel like you knew some of them, and I feel like that was genuine. I just don't feel like you knew all of them, and that obviously that other side of them existed within them too. Oh, is this the lawyer?
I would like a cup of hot water, filtered, if possible, and a single slice of lemon. And we'll talk like this.
I guess I'm coming to you.
Mike just done with everybody. He's got a very grounded charm.
Oh my God, Dwayne, this is so... You want anything else, Mike?
That's so funny. I'm so sorry, lady. You tried.
A list of 11 names. Those 11 could sink us.
Where are we going with this, lady?
And they're gonna get picked up by the police, and when they get picked up and threatened with prosecution, and there's only one way out for them, they're gonna... And I'm not saying all of them, okay?
I don't know, man. I feel like, honestly, just got a soul. Disappear. That'd be my game, I'll be honest at this point.
I never met your chemist, for instance.
I don't think you should meet him. I don't think you should.
You want me to kill every man on that list?
Great. Little Hitman segment. I like it.
No, I didn't say that.
I'm hoping. A little bit.
But if you think...
There it is. There it is.
You're very upset, which I'm going to factor into my response here.
Do you know what I mean? Grounded.
These are my guys. They are solid. My guys are solid.
I trust Mike, though.
Vetted them with great care.
Yeah, I do trust him. I think he's good.
Now, I don't know what kind of movies you've been watching, but even the real...
And it's interesting, pause, because I feel like there is weight behind what he's saying, just because we've seen that he's very good at his job, and the show's gone to pains to show that he's very good at his job, right? So as the audience, you believe him. The only way you get that faith in him is if the show has demonstrated that he is good at his job, and they've done that brilliantly, I think. Also pairing it with, again, this very grounded psyche, this very grounded character, which just complements the whole thing.
We're off that very silly idea.
Good on him. And you see like the sliver of good in him. I say sliver of good. I feel like that's a little bit harsh to him, to be fair, because I don't think it's interesting. He's a very interesting character too, right? He's great. He's great, like a lot of them in this show. I think there's this through line of hard moral good in him, but he has got that. I think it's more accurate to say he's got that sliver of bad, right? Actually, I'll reverse what I said. I don't think it's a sliver of good in him. I think honestly most of it's good. I'd liken him to perhaps to a tool, not in a derogatory way. I mean it in a complimentary way, and I feel like it's an absolutely controlled way by him. The tool that I'm talking about is him, and he knows that he has, this, if you'll forgive me, this particular set of skills, right? And that's what I'm talking about when I say tool. But he knows that. He knows he's good at that. He finds fulfillment in that. It just so happens that he shoots people sometimes. And at the end of the day, I'm sure he has his own moral kind of reasoning as to why he kills them, and, they're bad people and whatever, and, as well. He's not going around murdering people wantonly, or, children wantonly, for example, or whatever it might be. There is a code there, I think. I think with Mike, there's this base of goodness that I think is him and most of him, but it just so happens that the thing that he finds enjoyment through and fulfillment in requires a sliver of cold, a sliver of moral bad. That's what I'd say about Mike, honestly. And I think we're seeing that quite clearly here, at least to me. That's what I take from this scene here.
Drink your hot water.
Water.
Skylar, how about you get up, huh?
Don't push it, Walt. I find it so interesting, pause, sorry, just this image here. I think the cinematography is very on purpose, very specific in the way that it's arrayed them both. She's very much below him, at least at the moment, in regards to power and the way that Walt is being overbearingly, wielding his power over her. I think it's been kind of, you know, sorry, I'm being so pretentiously analytical here, apologies. But I think it is kind of on purpose, or at least if it's not, it displays this thing and the dynamic between them, right? She's in this kind of vulnerable position. You see the effect that his behavior has had on her as well. You don't see Walt as well, which I think is important. You just see part of him. It gives him and throws him as this character into mystery, which I think is almost more powerful, right? I think this unseen menace is more powerful than, like, if you can see the thing in front of you. It makes him seem all the more menacing in this picture because you can't see him. I think it just basically shows you this dominance at the moment that he has in this dynamic, and the way that he's kind of got all the power. He's hit her down. She doesn't feel like she can rise up against him, which I think this image here shows you, right? She can't rise. It's this exacerbation, I think, of this relationship and the after effects of last episode, and I think it's so beautifully pictured in the use of their cinematography, and I think it is very on purpose. I don't think they do things, this is the thing, the things that I'm talking about here are informed by what I've seen in the show before, and I don't think it is by accident that this has happened and that they're doing this. I think, you know, they are this clever to kind of use imagery this way, and I feel like it is very prevalent, the imagery that they're using. There you go, and then she does rise, but when she does, she pulls away.
So once more, you're waiving your right to have an attorney present?
Interesting. So they have called him in.
What do you do there? Corporate security.
This is the thing.
I conduct employee background checks.
Yeah, Mike used to be a police officer, let's not forget. He knows the system, he knows the questions, he knows how to act. He's an old hand at this.
We pulled your CCPs, everything would be in order?
Yeah, I'm guessing you've already done that, so you tell me.
Yeah, there we are.
You strike me as a former cop.
I love that we're getting these guys together in a room. It's a small thing, but these characters that you kind of are watching all this time, and there is something a little bit fulfilling, you know, for the audience, I feel. Just getting characters that you haven't seen get together and have a conversation, especially considering the way that Mike, I think, has seen Hank, right? He has seen Hank as being someone that he, through proxy, through Gus, has had a lot of power over. And now I feel like without Gus, Mike is kind of almost lowered a little bit, put on the same ground as Hank, and I feel like that's an interesting kind of place to put both of them as well.
From here on out, this can go hard or easy.
Forget your handcuffs.
Suppose we could talk about the $2 million in your granddaughter's name.
Ooh, hello.
10 years old and just cute as a button.
Hardball, but that's what it's going to take to get someone like Mike.
Maybe it was actually her dear old granddaddy.
And there we see it again, the team that is Gomez and Hank.
Kaylee might be able to keep some of that money.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like Mike is going to be okay without that money, though. He'll find a way.
I don't know anything about any money.
Yeah, out of all of these guys, he's the tightest, I feel. Yeah, but despite that, he's frustrated by that.
First order of business.
Hello, Saul. What you got for us?
No more RVs.
Oh, the RV. Honestly, didn't see enough. Bring it back.
It held its own as a starter lab, but it was too dark.
Fair play. It was level 1. That is true.
If Gus can manage it, then so can we.
And there you go. You see, pause. You see a little bit. Yeah, sorry. I'll go back a little bit because I want to see these guys' reactions. Saul's reaction there was interesting too. But you see there where Walt is in his own mind in relation to Gus. Because I don't think he is. I don't think he is equal to Gus at this point. I don't think he is. But I think Walt's ego that I keep talking about in this episode and last episode that we've seen as a result of the end of season 4 is that high. I feel like his ego and his own sense of self is the level of Gus, and he thinks he's his equal just because he killed him and got the better of him one time, which, like, don't get me wrong, absolutely a huge accolade. I don't think that necessarily, well, it absolutely doesn't. It doesn't give him the experience that Gus had through everything that he'd been through and through, you know, managing everything that he managed for however many years. And so that's the thing. I just, you know, that's, and so anyway, so I think that just gives you an insight into where Walt is in his own mind. And I do feel like, again, he is displaying this element of, he's a bit too big for his boots at the moment. His ego is outpacing where he is. And yeah, let's go back. So he says that, and then Jesse kind of look at him like, okay. Saul being like, sure. And they see that. They both see that, I think. But it's also telling how they don't mention it. And I wonder, well, I think in Saul's case, absolutely. But I wonder how much fear there is in both of them in regard to Walt. I think there is with Saul. With Jesse, maybe not so much, but maybe an element of that too.
There is methylamine out there. I know it.
I like that they're getting down and really getting to the nitty gritty and working this out.
Have faith.
In what, Walt? You?
There is gold in the streets, just waiting for someone to come and scoop it up.
At this point, I am kind of seeing this rise of Walt as the antagonist, right? All of the people around him are kind of subservient to him in some way or fearful of him in some way. And I think in this respect, we are seeing him take on that role.
What are you gonna? That was mine.
That is a top game. That is a top game. Honestly, bring that out at Christmas, mate. Whew. That was a good time.
I give up, baby. You're too good.
It's me. You got a minute?
Uh-oh. Is someone cracking?
The DEA. They called me to come back.
Hey, man, you gotta stay tight.
You give me 2 hours.
Ooh, I wonder if he's gonna kill Chow. Maybe because Chow is showing that he's cracking a little bit. And at the end of the day, the reason that Mike wasn't gonna kill anybody was... Okay. Hi. You know what? Never mind. Let's just see how it plays out. Okay. Maybe the lady... Okay. Yeah, maybe the lady broke or tried to employ... Yeah, you're not ready for Mike, mate. Come on.
Chris.
Yeah, you ain't getting the drop on Mike. Again, we're showing that he's just so competent.
How much was she gonna pay?
Yeah, the lady. Okay.
10,000 a name.
Right, so she didn't stop. Maybe he just needs to get rid of one name.
Just Chow.
Oh, no! Chow! What a bitch. God damn, he just knocked off Chow. I'm so mad. Oh my goodness. I feel like Mike's gonna kill him. Yeah.
This is Mike.
Ooh, and there it is. I like it though. I do like it. Hey, betrayed him at the end of the day. He knew the game. And you see that sadness in Mike. Look at it. You see it. You see the disappointment, the sadness that he had to do that. But like he lives by this code, I feel. You know, you crack, you break that code, you're gone. And there's a certain level of, I don't know. I want to say honor, but is there? Are we too far down to find honor? Are we ever too far down to find honor? That's a question. Yeah, Mike at least knows that she's playing a game. And that despite what he said, she's carrying on. Interesting. What I was saying about he had a code that meant that he didn't kill kids. Or innocents. Maybe I'm gonna have that disproved, which would change the conversation a little bit.
She ate her peas, carrots. She ate a whole lot of carrots this time.
Okay.
Go on home. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll meet to wait for you. You go home.
Pause in that little line and the way that he handled this and did that. Again, that moral line, I think that I'm gonna stand by what I said because I think it still applies, considering what he just did.
Okay.
And I think the stakes are this high right now as well. I think Mike would... Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what he's capable. I honestly don't know the depths to which he would fall in regard to this code that he has, right?
Don't hurt my daughter.
You know why I'm here?
Yeah.
What are you waiting for?
The nanny to leave.
I mean, in this world, in regard to what she did, I feel like he's justified. I know what I'm saying when I say that. And we've kind of seen that if it needed to be taken care of, he would have taken care of it. Mike said to her in like, bring it down, we don't have to kill people. And then she obviously went against that and she was like, no, I'm scared, I'm gonna just do the thing. Not only that, I'm gonna try and kill Mike. She was kind of she was the bad guy in that situation, she was. And I think Mike is justified in doing what he's doing here, considering the conversation they had and the way that he was like, just bring it down, we don't have to kill anybody, we don't have to do that. And I feel like that does add to this element of like his foundation. The greater foundation to his character is overall good. And I do feel like there is this sliver of bad, just in the case of what I was saying before in regard to his character. And I do feel like the overarching element, trait to him is good, honestly, despite the fact that he's got a woman at gunpoint right now.
2 good men died because of you.
Yeah. But he's right. They didn't have to.
Nobody's gonna find you, Lydia.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh, what an insidious line.
She has to find me.
I really love what this episode is doing with Mike here and what we're seeing.
You want your 5-year-old daughter stumbling across your dead body?
Yeah, see, he's thinking of that.
She has to know I didn't leave her. She has to know that.
Good voice.
Again, he's so interesting as a character study.
Promise, I don't disappear.
Good on her, by the way, for kind of accepting her fate and just dictating the terms a little bit. Nice, I like that. A little bit of strength to her character there and just taking back a little bit of power. What's the play, Mike? And it's pause. It's so prevalent. Sorry. I'm apologizing for pausing in this moment. But it's also prevalent that he has a daughter. We're reminded of that in this episode with the inclusion of his daughter, because we obviously had that scene, however long ago it was. But you'd be forgiven at this point for maybe forgetting that, right? I probably would have if they hadn't included it and reminded me in this episode. Again, they're thinking because they knew this scene was coming, and that this discussion and the moral play that was happening here was that she was being like, no, for my daughter, you can't let me disappear, she needs this. And obviously that would hit him in the way that it's hitting him here and making him hesitate because he has his daughter and that relationship there. I think that's a big theme throughout the episode, because obviously Hank and Gomez were kind of touching on that a little bit as well. And I think that's Mike's weak spot. The way that you can manipulate him and use him in the show, which I think the writers are doing.
You still get your hands on methylamine.
Hello, pause, and there we go. He sees a way out to use her, to keep her alive for his own sense of morality, right? And keeping a daughter from losing their parent. Thinking back to Walt's offer and what he was asking for, and perhaps offering something and doing it that way instead, and maybe even sacrificing a little bit of what Mike wants and what Mike thinks is best to save her, and not only to save her, because I don't think he cares so much about her, honestly, but to save the pain that the daughter would have, which I think is so, again, I think it shows a lot of where his morals are. And despite the fact that he is grey and he does bad things, I think you can say that he's morally good. I get that there's caveats to that, but I think you can say that. I would say that, honestly. Play.
Can you still get it?
Maybe.
Flamingo! As we all know, that was appropriate. Moving on. Yeah, and there it is. Maintaining his moral good for himself, I feel. His own code. And now he's in. Now he propels Walt forward, Jesse forward, the narrative forward, right? Even in that little thing that seems almost peripheral, it's propelling the narrative forward.
You still plan to move forward?
There we go. Ooh, he's sleeping next to her as well.
You missed a good meal.
Yeah.
Lasagna came out very well, if I do say so myself.
The levity, pause, the levity and the lightness in which he says something like that, and the content of what he's saying is so cruel. He's diverting the conversation from the thing that I feel like they need to talk about and discuss, and he's ignoring the pain and the fear and the overbearing dominance that he has on her and in regard to her and their relationship, and it's so cruel. It is, and once again, and he's pushing that forward more. He's pressing on that more. And it's telling as well, again, camera angle cinematography, that we're focusing in on Skylar's face when he says that as well. And you see the pain, the fear, the despair, right, I think that you get from her face there, which is so sad. Play.
You know, it gets easier. I promise you that it does.
Wow. The bad, the grit,
What you're
dirt.
feeling right now about Ted.
Wow, pause. So he's putting the blame for Ted's death solely on her shoulders. That's so dirty. That's so and he's like, and it's almost, I mean, it's cruel to reduce it to this idea of like, it gets easier. And I think in that line, he displays the depths to her that he's sunk to, first of all, because he's like, you know, it gets easier to kill people, don't worry about it. But at the same time, he thrusts this idea of blame harder on her for Ted's death. And it's like, okay, sure. There's, again, I think, you know, what I said last episode was there's some culpability in Skylar there, but like there wasn't intent, and that's important. That is important, by the way. I think that's the difference as well, right? In a lot of Walt's decisions, the intent has been there to kill, right? That is the difference. That's kind of one of the focal differences in Walt and Skylar, in that every single step that they've taken hasn't been to harm and to hurt people. Whereas I think in Walt's case, it has been. And that's how we separate the two of them. Skylar's not sunk to those depths. She's just not. And I think Walt is taking for granted that 1, she has, 2, she's going to, 3, she's going to be okay with it. And so while culpability can lie with Skylar, there is a focal difference between her and Walt, and a cruelty in what Walt is doing to her, because I think in the decisions that these people have made and that we want to blame people for, you know, as the audience, culpability is shared, I think, in some cases. I think, you know, culpability can be shared more heavily on certain sides. I would personally put more culpability on Walt because, honestly, again, I trace this whole thing back to him. I do. And, you know, I think some people might find that harsh, but I do feel like it's undeniable in some respects that, you know, they're in this situation in this future, in this present to me, I guess right now, not maybe to you guys, you know how this ends, whatever. But we're in this situation because of the decision that Walt made, without Skylar's say-so, without her decision making, and she's had to react to it all and adjust to it all. And despite the culpability on Skylar's part, the intent was very different on her part to the intent on Walt's part. And I think that's one way you can separate them. Play. Sorry, a little bit wordy, but
it'll pass.
This isn't the play, Walt. She's not where you are. She's not in your headspace. Don't you dare cuddle up. Fuck you. Fuck you. Get the fuck off her. Like, get the fuck off her. Like, it doesn't matter, right? Pause. It doesn't matter the kind of blame you want to dole out. If you want to say Skylar's to blame, fine, do that. This motherfucker needs to get the fuck off her. No, okay, sorry. I won't get too incensed by it. No, that's not true. I fucking will. I will. But like, it doesn't matter what you think of who's culpable, who's to blame. This right here is wrong, and you know it's wrong. It is. She don't want this, and the fact that he's forcing it is such abuse. Play. You piece of shit, Walt. Don't come back.
When we do.
When? He's so sure. This ego.
We've got nothing to worry about.
Speak for yourself.
There's no better reason than family.
Oh, you are past that point, mate. You are past finding a reason. Alright, I'm not going to retread because I think I extrapolated a little bit on what I thought about that situation, the Walt and Skylar situation, a little bit just then. So I'm not going to kind of keep going on about it. You know, I think what I feel about the whole thing is kind of on paper, so to speak. You know, what I said in last episode is, you know, stands. I still think that. I do still feel like the greater blame, the greater culpability does lie with Walt. That's not to say, again, that the culpability doesn't lie with Skylar in some respects. I do think, you know, she made the decision for herself to get involved with Ted and, you know, cook his books and all that stuff. I do. Again, it's great, right? It is. But I think when we're talking about this abuse in regards to their relationship specifically, and the way that Walt is pushing it is so dirty, so rotten, so lacking in, and it shows you, again, it's this check on like where his morals are and how lacking in empathy I think he is at this point. How far past he's gone this point of Heisenberg to get things done, right? That Heisenberg was always a guy that he used to get things done, to overcome the evil. And it's interesting how evil's been taken out of the show. It has been, right? Gus was the antagonist. That was the antagonism in the show. The cartels were the antagonism in the show. All of that's been taken out of the show. All of it. And so this tool, this thing that Walt used, Heisenberg, to overcome these things, unfortunately now is still present. But there's no evil to overcome. So I feel like Heisenberg has walked in a certain sense to this other thing. And I think Heisenberg has walked to this point where Heisenberg is a villain in his own right. I do think that. You know, please don't mistake my, you know, wording of that to mean that I think Walt doesn't exist in there. I think the Heisenberg, let's say, that's in there is a combination of those things. I think you do. But is he? It's hard to tell at this point, honestly. I mean, we're 2 episodes into season 5. It's hard to tell how much Walt is still in there. Honestly, it is. You know, we had at the beginning of this episode where I kind of questioned how much Walt was in there still. Maybe we'll see a little bit more to that dynamic as we get into it. We'll see. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave this one there. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for joining me. If you do like this content and you haven't got that bell ticked, hey man, just scroll down a little bit, see if it's there. And if it's not, hey, consider doing that. Do it. Do me a solid. And hey, do yourself a solid, because yeah, let's just lather you with Breaking Bad content, man. That's what I'm saying. Just lather it on yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm making it weird. I am making it weird. Like, just forget that last bit. Forget it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just you know, scroll down, do your thing. Thank you, as always, to my patrons. I am also covering The Sandman over on my Patreon at the moment, so if you're interested in me covering that series, go check that out. I've also got some movie commentaries over there as well, so yeah, links down below, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Breaking Bad will be with us next week too, so yeah, we'll be on to episode 3. So thank you again, and I'll see you there.